Benjamin Netanyahu. He has spent much of his political career representing himself as a guardian of Israeli security. For years, he warned about Iran. For years, he argued that Tehran's ambitions posed a serious threat here, and for years, many Israelis they trusted his judgment. Well, however, today that trust is being tested. Critics are asking difficult questions that did Mr. Netanyahu correctly understand Mr. Trump's strategy? Did he assume Washington would maintain pressure for long? Did Israel become too dependent on American support? And most importantly, did the conflict ultimately strengthen Iran instead of weakening it? Opposition leaders, they have seized the moment, though. Former officials, they are openly criticizing government decisions. In fact, political rivals, they are portraying the agreement as an evidence of strategic failure. Here some say that Mr. Netanyahu promised outcomes that he could not deliver. Others argue that he underestimated how quickly diplomacy could replace military action. In the meantime, elections are approaching. That means every development, it is being viewed through both security lens and the political lens. Every statement is analyzed, every decision is scrutinized, every mistake, it becomes a potential campaign issue. Now, for Mr. Netanyahu, this may become one of the most difficult chapters of his leadership because when uncertainty grows, voters start asking tough questions. And when expectations are not met, political consequences often follow. Yet, behind all these headlines about Washington and Tehran, another fascinating story it is beginning to emerge. Because what if the real power brokers behind this agreement, they were not in Washington or Tehran at all? Imagine fighting a war, making sacrifices, accepting risk. In fact, watching soldiers leave their home, watching families live under constant threat of missiles, watching businesses close, watching communities adapt to uncertainty, and then suddenly seeing your closest ally negotiating with the very country you believed threatened your security. That is exactly how many Israelis feel today. Across Israel, criticism is growing louder. Politicians, they are, and that too from different parties, they are fighting. Former military officials, security experts, television commentators, ordinary citizens, many of them, they are asking the same question. Was all of this even worth it? For months, Israeli leaders, they argued that Iran represented one of the biggest threats to the country's security. They defended military operation. They justified the risks. In fact, they told the public that difficult decisions were necessary. They argued that pressure would weaken Iran's influence across the region here. But now many Israelis, they are looking at the U.S.-Iran agreement and wondering whether those sacrifices achieve their intended goal or not. Here, some believe that the government gives Iran valuable breathing room. Others fear sanction relief could strengthen Tehran economically. Many worry the diplomacy is replacing pressure at exactly the wrong moment. And perhaps the biggest concern is uncertainty. Israel wants to know what happens next. They want to know whether Iran's behavior, it will actually change. They want to know whether the agreement will make the region safer or simply delay future confrontations. The result is growing frustration. And increasingly, that frustration is being directed at Israel's own leadership. Because as public anger grows, one man finds himself standing directly in the center of the storm.